Today I'm comparing my favorite Assassin's Creed game with the newcomer Rise of Ronin. You might be surprised by the outcome. I have opinions. First, let's introduce each game. Ghost of Tsushima, developed by Sucker Punch Studios, stands out as a masterpiece, a shining example of what the PS4 is capable of. Even as we venture into the era of the PS5, released in 2020, this game pushes the boundaries of the console's capabilities, presenting a world so breathtaking, so rich in detail and atmosphere, that it rivals and in many aspects surpasses the visual fidelity of many contemporary titles. What elevates Ghost of Tsushima further is its cinematic presentation. The game feels like an interactive samurai movie, with its carefully composed shots, dramatic confrontations, and a story that captures the essence of honor, sacrifice, and the struggle between tradition and the necessity of innovation. Rise of the Rōnin feels similar to Ghost of Tsushima and Sekiro. You can see the protagonist use different stances in the trailer in the same way Jin Sakai does in Ghost of Tsushima. The game has generated buzz with its recent behind-the-scenes revelations, shedding light on what players can anticipate from Team Ninja's latest endeavor. Known for their meticulous and gratifying combat systems, as seen in Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden, Team Ninja is poised to elevate their legacy with Rise of the Rōnin. Set during the tumultuous final days of the Tokugawa shogunate in Japan, the game promises a rich narrative woven into an expansive combat system that marries traditional melee weapons with firearms, offering players a plethora of styles to master. The environments of Tsushima are a marvel to behold. Every landscape, from the rolling hills dotted with vibrant swaying grass to the serene forests bathed in the soft glow of sunlight piercing through the canopy, is crafted with meticulous attention to detail. The fact that Ghost of Tsushima was initially a PS4 title is astounding. Its ability to look better than most games today is a testament to the skill and dedication of its developers, Sucker Punch Productions. Replaying it on PS5 in full 4K at 60 FPS is where the game truly shines. The character details and animations are elevated to new heights, with every movement in combat feeling fluid and impactful. The combat system itself is a dance, a smooth, flowing exchange of offense and defense that requires precision, timing, and an understanding of your enemies. Drawing inspiration from classic samurai films, the combat in Ghost of Tsushima feels like participating in a beautifully choreographed dance of death. Every slash, parry, and dodge is executed with precision, mirroring the discipline of a real samurai while maintaining a stylized aesthetic that's a feast for the eyes. The game allows players to switch between different stances, each tailored to combat specific types of enemies. The combat extends beyond swordplay and stealth, incorporating the environment itself as a tool. You can use smoke bombs, firecrackers, and even beehives to create chaos among enemies or to gain a strategic advantage. On the other hand, we got Rise of the Ronin's combat mechanics is the concept of ki depletion. Similar to stamina, managing your ki becomes a crucial strategic element, dictating your ability to attack, defend, and maneuver around the battlefield. Depleting an enemy's ki renders them vulnerable, setting the stage for devastating critical hits. Conversely, when your ki is exhausted, your offensive capabilities are significantly hampered, underscoring the game's emphasis on balanced and strategic combat engagement. Enhancing this combat system are the counter-spark and martial arts skills designed to whittle down an opponent's maximum ki, thus making them easier to overcome. The inclusion of counter-spark adds a layer of depth to encounters, requiring precise timing to effectively parry and counterattack, momentarily stunning foes and opening them up for further onslaught. The game also introduces an array of ranged weapons, from the silent lethality of bows to the loud, stunning impact of firearms, each bringing its unique tactical advantages to combat. Notably, Ronin incorporates a grappling rope mechanic, allowing players to swiftly navigate the battlefield, whether by gaining vantage points or pulling distant enemies closer for melee combat. This tool promises to add a dynamic layer to encounters, offering players innovative ways to engage foes and control the flow of battle. A standout feature that you might like is the game's character creation system. The game allows you to craft their unique warrior, customizing visual aspects from facial features to body shape, hair, and voice. While the depth of this system remains under wraps, its inclusion is a welcome addition, enhancing your immersion and personal connection to the narrative. Furthermore, you get cooperative multiplayer, letting you to tackle the game's main story missions with up to 3 friends online. But if you're looking for PvP combat, unfortunately there isn't any, hopefully in the near future. When I place Ghost of Tsushima and Rise of the Rōnin side by side, I can't help but feel a tinge of disappointment with Rise of the Ronin's graphics. The environments seem to lack detail, appearing somewhat low polygon, and the character animations, especially in cutscenes, come across as stiff. there's something about it that doesn't quite pull me in. It lacks that immersive quality, feeling more like a traditional game than a living, breathing world, especially when compared to the richly detailed and fluidly animated world of Tsushima. And here's where things get interesting. Despite being a product of the previous console generation and released almost 5 years ago, sets a high bar in terms of polish and overall presentation. While Ronin introduces a different style and incorporates more Souls-like elements into its gameplay, the comparison inevitably brings to light the areas where it falls short. But hey, that's just my take on it. Perhaps Rise of Ronin is placing a bigger emphasis on gameplay mechanics and other aspects. Still, it's natural to expect that any game released today should visually outshine those from the PS4 era. Observing releases like Rise of Ronin, one can't help but ponder, why did I invest in a PS5? I also went on Reddit to read what people think about it. Here are some interesting highlights. I feel like I'm going crazy. On YouTube, there's a bunch of people saying the graphics are unacceptably bad, immersion breaking, and I can't understand it. The graphics don't blow me away, but the game looks good. The faces are great, there's detail in the roads and dirt and bricks. The blood looks great. The only things I see that are weak are the foliage and some of the animations. Is this probably just a YouTube compression, bitrate issue, and it just looks bad because the video is compressed and low resolution, or are the visuals actually bad? My response, asking if it's YouTube compression at fault, is a bit silly. Go look at Tsushima's original trailer for the PS4 in 1080p. Why didn't the compression ruin that video? Look at God of War Ragnarok, look at Uncharted 4. Look, when a game looks good, it looks good. Alright, I almost finished the video when I saw this Reddit post, and I think it's worth sharing a part of it. Mechanically, this looks freaking awesome and super deep. It's literally Nioh plus Wo Long plus Sekiro with some Ninja Gaiden mixed into an open-world setting. They even alleviated my concern that all there would be is normal-sized humans. As somebody with nearly 1,000 hours across Team Ninja games, just these facts alone make me excited to get it. However, and I hate to put it this way, but I don't have any other choice, doesn't this game look unfinished to anyone else? I'm not talking about graphical fidelity because that I honestly don't care about. Instead, there seems to be some issues with flow between animations, and I'm noticing some bugs and glitches even just in the short gameplay that they have shown. 1. The walking animations of the NPCs in the first cutscene look really funky, and the clothing doesn't have the same detail to the cloth physics that Nioh or Wo Long had. 2. All of the animations for climbing and the clutch claw looking thing are really floaty and don't line up with where the player is relative to the ledge rope of the clutch claw. The first time we see the player land after using said claw, you can literally see them clearly getting slowly aligned into place on the roof instead of just landing. 3. Flying around on the paraglider looks pretty good, but then the front flip onto the horse and subsequent riding just looks flat out bad and unfinished. Hell, there's not even an animation for you landing on the horse, and it feels like they skipped some frames. 1 second you are in air, and then a quarter second later you are snapped to the horse like a magnet. I also don't think I've ever seen a horse run with its legs flopping to the left and right that much instead of going forward. It must have broke its ankles with that magnet yanking you into the poor creature. 4. With the combat, there are very clearly tons of animations that just feel like they're skipping something, at least compared to TN's previous games. Everything from switching stances to strafing and even basic attacks of both the player and enemies feel like they have a ton less frames to them. I don't have an issue with short animations, especially considering TN has a history of making even the shortest of animations look buttery smooth, but when even the animations that the enemies have when they stand back to a normal stance after getting hit look stiff as a board, it makes me really concerned. There are quite a few really beautiful looking animations in the combat, but there's tons of poor ones that definitely needs to get addressed before the game launches, or people are going to be complaining about it incessantly. For many of you, none of this will matter. And that's a good thing. I hope you enjoy this game regardless of its launch state. In addition, as it was with last year's release, I have full confidence that TN can make this game amazing eventually, and it looks like it has so much potential, but for me, this just ain't it yet. I'm going to be watching this game very closely into the release, and maybe if reviews come back and my concerns are unfounded, I'll get it sometime in April, after I'm done with Dragon's Dogma 2.